For one last time this semester, welcome back to the lineup. Alongside Joel Pelachik and Ryan Croke, I'm Jake Bowen. Guys, our final show of the semester, why not spend it doing a full 30 minutes of college football? A lot of moving parts in this. Joel, I know you're excited, Joel.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one.
It's going to be a fun one. But before we can get to this whole college football playoff controversy, we got to start with how we got there with a couple of recaps. We'll start first. Last Friday night, Texas A&M and Texas. The Longhorns win 27-17. Joel or Ryan, I'm going to go to you first. What are your instant reactions for this one?
This game proves what me and you, Joel, have said all season. Texas A&M is not who everybody said they were. They were never the third best team in the country. Their record was extremely misleading. Their first game against an SEC team that's outside of the bottom 9 in the conference standings, and they just got thoroughly outclassed. Does that mean Texas is somehow some team that we've been sleeping on all season? No, it doesn't. It means that A&M was never who they appeared to be. And we saw it against South Carolina in that first half. We saw how poorly Marcel Reed played then. And we saw that he has a performance like the one that he did in this game in him, and it came to fruition at the worst possible time for Texas A&M. 11-0 start, one of their best seasons in program history, and all of it goes out the window at the end. Not that they're going to miss the playoff, but they're not in the SEC championship game after seeming like a lock all year.
Yeah, I mean, I got to give Texas credit. They thoroughly exposed Marcel Reed. They proved he's a one-dimensional player. He was great on the ground, Jake. Don't get me wrong here, 71 yards, but the receivers were limited. Concepcion led with 57 yards, and those 2 interceptions on the last 2 drives for A&M are just unforgivable for Reed. They're unforgivable. But like I said, Texas did play a good game. And, you know, they realized that Arch Manning isn't this glorious quarterback that everybody thinks. And they leaned on the run, They
Correct.
knew their identity, including Arch Jake. He was fantastic with his legs. But how about Quintravion Wisner? 19 carries, 155. He was running angry at that Texas A&M defense.
Yep.
This is an important game, I think, for Texas and Arch Manning's future. Highly unlikely that Texas get in. I think there's a path that they could. But going into next season, Arch Manning, the second half of the season, has really played well. He was 6 for 8 in that second half, over $150, a couple of touchdowns, game-stealing rushing touchdown on his legs. He's really improving.
He's been much better, yes, but that's not the standard. Going into the season, this should have been the floor, not the ceiling. And
it was an
that's what
unfair
it's proven to be.
standard.
Correct.
It's
It was
more
an
the people
unfair
than
standard.
Arch.
He did show up at points throughout the latter half of the year, yes, and he did show some growth. But there's no beating around the bush. One of the most disappointing seasons after coming in with high preseason expectations that we've seen from a quarterback in recent years.
Right.
But undoubtedly so.
Yeah, I feel for he's improved, though. He's improved. I wanted to say, I'm sure you loved this, Jake. That McDonough call, looking like grandpa. When he got that game, I got goosebumps.
That was sweet.
Great call for that.
Yeah.
Go-ahead 2-score run.
One more thing about Texas A&M I want to throw out there. Aside from that win against Notre Dame, which I know you both know, I will argue was fraudulent. They haven't won a game, and this game against Texas, they haven't played a single team that's currently in the top 25. Outside of this game against Texas and that fraudulent Notre Dame win that I would argue was fraudulent, they haven't played a single game against a team that's currently in the top 25.
But, I mean, is that on them? You only play who's in front of you.
My point is that's why me and Joel have been saying that they have not been as good as people have said they are, including you, all season long, and it got proven on the biggest stage.
They had a weaker SEC schedule.
Correct.
Which is still a tough schedule, but
Listen,
yes, it means more, Ryan.
It means more, sure.
The whole Texas thing, besides that Florida loss, I mean, they had one of the best seasons. They played 5 top 10 teams.
You can't ignore the Florida loss. Ignoring the Florida loss is malpractice. Ignoring it's malpractice. We'll save that till later on in the show.
They had a better season, though, than I think people give them credit for.
Correct.
Yeah. Let's move now to the game. In Michigan, taking on Ohio State. Both teams, well, Ohio State in already, but Michigan, chance to pull off an upset and get in that college football playoff. That didn't happen. Ohio State took care of business. Joel, 27-9. First win for the Buckeyes over the Wolverines since 2019.
Listen, I dislike both of these teams. It is no secret, but I live for this game. This is what the sport is about. This is what college football is about. 4 wins in a row for Michigan. Ohio State goes into Ann Arbor. Snow is falling. Ohio State loses communication in the fourth quarter. Coincidence? I don't know. We know how Michigan is a little sneaky. Just everything about that game is just, it's cinema. But this year, Sharon Moore and the Wolverines' luck just kind of ran out. It was a competitive game, don't get me wrong, but that Ohio State roster is just so good. They were not going to lose this time. It's as simple as that, guys. That's all I really have. They were going to win.
Yeah, I mean, Bryce Underwood coming into the year, one of the most hyped-up quarterbacks in the country.
Disappointing season.
Yeah, I would agree. But a guy who I think didn't get enough at respect coming into the season is on the other side, Julian Sayin. And, you know, do I think that this kid is the greatest thing since sliced bread? Absolutely not. But I got to give him credit for how he played today. He has been putting on a under-the-radar Heisman-caliber season, and he really made a case with this game. Started 0 for 2 with that interception, but then after that, 19 of 24, 233 yards, and 3 touchdowns in the snow in a hostile environment in one of the biggest game, if not the biggest game, they'll play all season, even though they're going to be the #1 seed headed into the college football playoff, depending on how that Big Ten championship game goes, obviously. But that game, you know, talk about it meaning more in the SEC. There were Ohio State fans last year who would have rather won the game against Michigan than won the national championship.
Right,
so for him to
right.
play the way he did on that stage was really impressive to me.
He was great. Under the radar, though?
Yeah.
No. No.
When has
Everybody's
his
been
name
talking
been
about him.
atop the conversation? Not at any point this year until after this
I
game.
mean, he's been top 3 a lot of the time.
But
though.
when has he been? It's always been Mendoza
I will give
over
Ryan
him.
credit. He's been in the conversation, but no one thinks he's the #1.
Correct.
Heisman.
No one views.
Candidate,
I don't
but
think
he's been in the top 3.
I
the
thought
whole
him
year.
and Mendoza have been top 2 for that because that completion percentage is so impressive.
Listen, I think the reason why he played so well after that first drive, Bo Jackson. This freshman is
he was
elite.
great. He was great.
117 yards, 5.3 a carry, 6.3 on the season. He's got a great name and is an even better football player for Ohio State.
Yeah, and he just wouldn't go down. I was really
Yeah.
impressed with his motor. He just
Yeah.
did not get. He just would not get tackled.
Lamar Bo Jackson. You know that, right? That's
pretty-
Bo's. That's crazy.
Lamar Jackson.
His
and
real
Bo
name is
Jackson.
Lamar Jackson.
One other
Isn't
quick
that
thing.
great?
Ohio State's defense had a better statistical defense this year than 2001 Miami, who had 4 Hall of Famers and 7 first-round
offensive
draft picks.
touchdown.
Yeah.
8 and 4.
Crazy
That's
stat.
really that is video game.
I
numbers.
do want to say one thing. You mentioned the defense. They were great, and Michigan just doesn't have that firepower offensively. They had 163 total yards. And I was looking at all their drives. Their longest drive, time-wise, in the second half, 2:29. I mean, Ohio State had 40 minutes of possession time. Like,
Yeah.
they just kind of took control. It was like what
what they've done
Michigan
all year.
does to them, has done to them in the past. They outlast them in the second half, especially the fourth quarter. And this time, the script was completely reversed.
Yep.
Michigan's set, though. They've got years to come with
Yeah.
all those freshmen.
Bright
on the
future
offensive side
ahead.
of the ball. We're going to wrap up with the Iron Bowl, another classic rivalry game, Alabama at Auburn. And Ryan, this game came down to the wire after the Crimson Tide were up 17-0.
Yes, it did. And you know what? I've been on the Crimson Tide all year. I've been on the Crimson Tide for 2 years now because I think Kalen DeBoer still remains the most disrespected coach in the country. But I have to be objective. This past month of Alabama football has not been impressive. And I'm concerned. I'm a little concerned, especially in this game. This is an Auburn team that won 1 SEC game all year. Now, I get that Nick Saban called Jordan Hare haunted, and, you know, I'm going to give them credit for winning a rivalry game every time. But listen, it wasn't pretty, and Alabama tried to give this game away on numerous occasions. They really, really did. And now, that final minute of the game for Auburn was maybe the worst final minute of a game that I could even imagine for a team. You have a fumble on the potential tying drive with under 40 seconds to go. You have a muffed punt that went out of bounds.
Right.
You lose 5. You had 10 seconds on the clock. If you just make the fair catch, you lose half of them when it rolls out. And then you have the final play just completely blown up. It was just a disaster for the Tigers. Crimson Tide, 10-2 to finish the season. I like what I see from them, but the past month they just haven't looked like the way they have at the start of the year.
Right. I understand that. You have Simpson, 122 passing yards. I thought Ryan Williams was out or something. I mean,
Yeah,
he played. He had no targets.
He's talking about a disappointing year.
I don't know what's going on with him, but I will say they didn't have that upset like they had against Oklahoma last season that ruined the playoff chances. So they did lose to Oklahoma,
Yeah.
but, you know, they had the unranked
I still think they're going to win the
loss.
SEC title.
Also lost to Florida State.
They could, but you know,
Talk about bad games.
they made it. They made it. That's what they need to do, and they done it. They did it. But Auburn, they gave the game away.
How about
I mean,
Ashton
like you said,
Daniels?
and that interception by Ashton Daniels wasn't his fault at all. It was
Oh,
the deflection
that is a
off of the
terrible
check
interception.
down. That was just cringeworthy to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Didn't go Auburn's way.
No.
What a game, though, from Daniels. 108 rushing yards,
Yeah.
350 total.
He was excellent.
That's just the appetizer, though, because coming up next, we're taking a look at the college football coaching roulette that's been circulating around the past week. Stay with us. You're not going to want to miss it.